Hello, sweeties! The second half of Season 3 Bridgerton finally released today, and it feels like Christmas morning. I may be just a little obsessed and excited, and I was inspired to do some nail art, and I wanted to share the process with you. So normally I prefer to freehand most of my nail art, but lately my arthritic hands are starting to struggle to freehand directly onto my nails without having aching wrists and fingers during and afterwards. So I sometimes do this technique where I paint onto a silicone mat and make my own nail decals, which is exactly what I'll be doing today, except not much freehand will be done, as I wanted to share with you a little tip to make those who frequently comment saying that they can't freehand would still be able to do this. Okay, so let's start out by me apologizing for this bad lighting, but I forgot to record this specific part with my camera and my lighting, so I had to quickly do it with my cell phone and a flash. Anyways, I start out by measuring my nail beds from sidewall to sidewall, so the width, and then from top to bottom, length. And using those measurements made little sketches of my nails, which you can see ever so slightly here in white. So here you can also see there's already an image of Penelope and Colin that I put underneath the clear silicone mat, and I basically just copy the image and paint over it, sort of like a color by number. It's hard to explain, but I think you'll get what I mean as you watch it. This image you see I actually just got from Google, but you can find whatever you want from there, or you can draw your own, or copy a stamping plate, whatever you decide. Now you can put your silicone mat over any image, whether you print it out on paper, or even put your mat over your phone screen or a tablet. I prefer to print it out so I can move the paper around if I need to. Also take note that I'm using acrylic paint because for me it's so much easier to work with. While the decal dried, I did the same thing for all my other nails. And it was at this point I realized I may have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew, because I realized just how small the letters were that I printed out, so I just decided to remove that and go back to it later. By the way, this is one of the reasons I prefer working with paint rather than nail polish, because all I had to do was take a Q-tip and some water and just remove the mess. I've tried this with polish and acetone and it's a bit messier, and if you're painting directly onto your nails, then the acetone will just remove the base polish you have on your nails, so this is why I use paint and water. And back to the itty bitty letters. which you'll see halfway through, I ended up just not trying to follow the image underneath it and just freehanding it and hoping for the best. And I still very much struggled. Oh well. Happy to finally be done with those stupid letters, I then finished the inkwell and pen. Once everything is dried, it's time to actually turn them into decals. I do this by applying a coat of Sally Hanson Invisible Clear Polish and let that fully dry. For me, I wait a solid 30 to 40 minutes just to be sure they're actually fully dry. I wouldn't wait too much longer than that, as they do actually dry out too much and become crumbly and can break when you try to peel them off the mat. This is also why I don't recommend using a fast dry top coat, as those dry so quick and almost hard that every time I tried using them, they would just crack and fall apart. Here you can see me quickly sketching another decal base to be roughly the same size as the one next to it, which both will be used for my index nail. I'm going to do this because, again, I didn't want to paint directly onto my nails because my poor hands just can't deal with it at the moment. So I'm painting these templates to create some floral backgrounds to go behind the butterfly, and I did this again with my pinky nail to go behind the bee, which I accidentally did off camera, but you see in the shadow in the right bottom corner as I'm doing it. Sorry. Okay, so I wanted to paint some sort of abstract watercolor type flowers here. I didn't want too much detail because I want the butterfly and the bee to be the main focal points on the nails, and the flowers to just sort of sit quietly in the background. My index nail is themed around Penelope Featherington and her household color scheme, which is citrus colors, so I went with orange and yellow flowers. My pinky is themed around Colin Bridgerton, and his household color schemes is blue and light purples, so I went with lavender and light blue flowers for that. So apparently, I didn't record me painting the orange flowers, and I didn't even realize it until I was editing the video now. I apologize. I don't know who thought it was a good idea for me to do nail art first thing in the morning without coffee. Once the flowers dried, I painted a coat of the clear polish over them and let those dry as well. Now time to finish the butterfly and the bee. I first carefully peel the edges of the decals up using my water marbling tool, but you can use a needle or a toothpick or whatever you like. I then gently peel the decal up and trim off all the extra clear polish and try to get as close to the image as possible, sort of like I've shown in my other videos with the water slide decals. I then apply it onto my clear stamper head, making sure the front of the decal is what's touching the stamper head so that the back of it is facing me. So in this next step, it's basically like doing reverse stamping, except with your own drawn out image rather than a stamped one. So you color in the butterfly and the bee. Easier to show you than explain. The butterfly house is supposed to represent the Featherington house, as the ladies are seen wearing butterfly jewelry a lot, and the inside of their house also has a lot of butterfly decor. And the bee represents the Bridgerton house, which you can see all over their house, and the ladies' hairpins and jewelry, and the men wear little bee lapels. While everything was drying, I painted my nails themselves and let them fully dry as well. I'll have a list of the polishes used in the description box below. I apply one coat of a sticky base coat and let dry to a tacky finish, so that the decals have something to adhere to. I then apply the decal using my stamper, and I repeat these steps with the inkwell and pen, as well as the flowers and the Colin and Penelope image. Now I apply another coat of the sticky base coat over my index and my pinky nails and let it dry tacky before stamping on the butterfly and the bee. I seal everything in with a fast dry top coat and let that fully dry, and then I applied a matte top coat. And here's the finished result. I love how the Penelope and Colin nail turned out, as well as the floral nails. The Lady Whistledown nail wasn't my favorite due to the stupid tiny letters, but what you gonna do? I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go order a pizza and watch the rest of Bridgerton now, so thanks for watching. Bye!